They laughed at her dreams, so she became their worst nightmare. Emily was just an ordinary girl from a small town. But what made her different was her dream. She wanted to become a filmmaker. While others were planning normal jobs, Emily dreamed of creating movies that touched hearts. She would write stories every night, imagining scenes, characters, and powerful endings. She told her classmates she wanted to study film in the city. But the problem is, no one took her seriously. They laughed. A filmmaker? From here? They mocked. One boy said, "You can't even afford a real camera." Another added, "You'll be back here in a year working at the local store." Their laughter echoed in her mind. Even her relatives didn't believe in her. Her uncle said, "Dream smaller. You'll get hurt." Her cousin rolled her eyes and joked, "Emily, just marry a rich man instead." But Emily didn't stop dreaming. She saved money by doing small jobs, skipped parties, and studied hard. She applied to a film school in the city. She cried when she got accepted. It was a small chance, but it was hers. She packed her bags and left with no camera, little money, and a heart full of hope. Life in the city was tough. Emily shared a tiny room with two strangers. She ate noodles every day and walked miles to save bus fare. But she never missed a class, not even one. Her classmates had expensive gear, connections, and stylish clothes. Emily felt invisible. Sometimes teachers skipped her during discussions. It hurt. But she kept learning, writing, observing. She offered to help on other students' projects, holding lights, carrying bags, doing anything. But most laughed and said, "No offense, but you're not cut out for this." One even whispered, "She's just here to watch, not to make." Nights were the hardest. Emily cried into her pillow, asking herself, "Am I chasing a lie?" But then she'd pull out her notebook and write. Her stories kept her alive, stories about girls like her, fighting and rising. She started filming short videos on her old phone. She posted them online under a fake name. Slowly, a few people began to notice. One message read, "This story made me cry. Thank you." It was the first time Emily felt seen. She whispered, "Maybe I do have something. Maybe I'm not wrong." Emily continued uploading her short films. The quality was low, but the heart was strong. Her followers grew, from 10 to 50, then 100, then 1,000. People connected with her honesty and raw emotion. One of her videos, a story about a lonely girl finding her voice, went viral. A popular content creator shared it, saying, "Whoever made this, you've got talent." Emily couldn't believe it. She cried again, but this time with joy. The film school still didn't care. Her teachers ignored her rise. But now, directors and small producers started messaging her. She began working on small sets as a script assistant. She listened, watched, and learned. A film festival accepted one of her short films. It was shot with a phone, edited on a free app, but it told a powerful story. She attended nervously, wearing a dress she bought from a thrift store. When the judges announced her name as the winner of Best Emerging Director, the whole room clapped. Emily stood frozen. She walked up to the stage, tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered into the mic, "for not laughing." But the real twist was yet to come. The same classmates who once mocked her now started acting friendly. "Hey, Emily, your last film was great. We should totally collaborate." But Emily smiled politely. She hadn't forgotten. She was invited to speak at her college. She stood in front of the same students who had ignored her. "You all told me I wouldn't make it," she began. "But thank you. Your doubt became my fuel." A girl raised her hand asking, "How did you not give up?" Emily replied, "Because I believed in myself louder than you laughed at me." News articles began calling her the girl who filmed dreams on a phone. She was offered a deal to direct a feature film, a story she had written years ago when she was crying alone in her bed. Emily went back to her hometown for a short visit. At the grocery store, the boy who once laughed at her dreams was now a cashier. He looked at her, stunned. "Emily, wow, you really did it." She nodded gently, paid for her things, and said with a smile, "Never laugh at someone else's dreams. You never know when they'll become your nightmare." Emily's first film became a surprise hit. It didn't have big stars or a big budget, but it had truth. It had soul. Audiences connected. Reviews said things like, "This film made me cry," and "I see myself in her characters." She started her own production company called Dream Back Studios, helping young people from small towns like hers. She gave chances to writers, actors, and directors no one else believed in. She visited schools and colleges, sharing her story. "I was the girl everyone laughed at, and now I'm the girl whose name is on the screen." Young girls cried during her speeches, saying, "You gave us hope." Her family, once unsure, now proudly told everyone, "Emily's our daughter, the filmmaker." Even her cousin, the one who used to mock her, now asked for career advice. Emily helped her, but never forgot. And as she grew more famous, she stayed humble. She still wrote in the same notebook, still carried the same pain, but now it had become power. Emily didn't just live her dream. She became the dream others were afraid to have. One day, a major award ceremony invited her. She walked the red carpet in a beautiful dress, holding her mother's hand. Flashlights flashed. Reporters cheered her name. She smiled, not for fame, but for the journey behind her. She won Best Director. When she held the trophy, she looked into the camera and said, "This is for the girl who was laughed at and kept going anyway." Social media exploded. Her name trended worldwide. People who once laughed at her were now telling their friends, "I knew her." But deep down, Emily knew who was real and who wasn't. She built a quiet life, a house full of books, a cozy garden, and a room for her writing. She still cried sometimes, not from pain, but from pride. She had turned every tear into triumph. She wrote her first book, titled "They Laughed, I Rose." It became a bestseller. She dedicated it to everyone who's ever been told they weren't enough. And that is how the girl with a little dream became the nightmare of every person who doubted her.